In the next few minutes, I'll show you everything you need to know to use the DJI Mic 3 properly. I'll show you its hidden features and how to get the most out of the Mic 3. To make this tutorial easier to follow, it's divided into 10 chapters, corresponding to the most important features of the Mic 3. I have the combo with the charging case and the 2 transmitters. There are other bundles available, but the basic functionality of the microphones remains the same. This bundle includes 2 transmitters, which are essentially the actual microphones. A receiver that you can connect to a camera, smartphone or computer, a USB-C adapter for the receiver, an audio cable that you can use to connect the receiver to a camera's microphone port, for example, 4 windscreens in 2 different colors that you can install onto the transmitters to reduce wind noise, 2 magnets to attach the transmitters to your clothing, the charging case which is used to store and charge the microphones, and of course a charging cable. So quite a lot. I will now show you step by step how to use the individual parts. And we'll start with the most important part, the transmitter and how to attach it. The transmitter comes with a back clip, so you can easily attach it to your clothing. The back clip is magnetic, removable and can be rotated sideways. This allows you to attach the microphone sideways as well. Ideally, you should position the microphone so that it faces the audio source and is about a handspan away from your mouth. The back of the transmitter is magnetic, allowing you to attach it to metal objects without a clip. This can be very useful. If you are recording outdoors and it is even slightly windy, you should definitely use the windscreen. It significantly reduces wind noise. It has 2 clips on the underside and you can simply press it onto the top of the transmitter. To remove it, pull it up again at the side. To attach the transmitter to your clothing, you can use one of the 2 magnets as an alternative to the back clip. For example, you can place the magnet under your t-shirt and then attach the transmitter magnetically. In this case, you can also rotate the transmitter as needed. The transmitter has a range of up to 400 meters to the receiver, but only under optimal conditions and when lossless audio is disabled. We'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, now we've attached the transmitter correctly. Let's take a closer look at how it works. It has 2 buttons on the right hand side and a LED light on both the left and right. The left LED light is the recording light, which indicates whether the microphone is currently recording internally. I will explain what an internal recording is in more detail shortly. The right light, on the other hand, is the status and connection light. It indicates whether a device is connected, which connection mode is active, whether noise cancellation is enabled, or the battery level during charging. Currently, it is flashing green, which means that no device is connected. However, it also means that the microphone is turned on, which happens automatically when you take it out of the charging case. The upper button is the power button. Pressing it for 2 seconds turns the microphone off. Pressing it again for 2 seconds turns the microphone back on. A very useful feature of the transmitter is that it has internal storage. Each transmitter has about 32 gigabytes. This means that you can record an audio file using the transmitter alone, without an additional camera or the receiver. It's very easy to do. As soon as the transmitter is switched on, press the power button briefly and the internal recording will start. You can tell this is happening by the solid red recording light. Press the button again to stop recording. You can then place the transmitter in the case, connect the case to a computer, and the transmitter will be recognized as a drive, allowing you to copy the audio file. This is ideal for podcasts, for example, or if you simply need an audio recording without video. However, you can also make an internal recording while connected to a camera, creating a backup copy of the audio recording, so to speak. The power button has another function. If you press it twice quickly, you activate noise cancellation. The status LED will now flash yellow, indicating that noise cancellation is activated. Distracting background noise is reduced. We will see later that there are 2 types of noise cancellation. In most cases, you won't just want to record internally with the transmitter. You'll want to connect it to a camera. To do this, you need to use the bottom button, the so-called linking button. If you press it for 2 seconds, the transmitter switches to pairing mode. The LED will now flash green and blue alternately. There are basically 2 possible connection types. You can connect the transmitter directly to a camera via Bluetooth. This works with DJI devices such as the Action 5 Pro, the Osmo 360 or the Pocket 3, but also with devices from other manufacturers. The second option is to connect it to the receiver, which you then connect to your camera or computer. If, like me, You purchase the mic free with the receiver is turned on and you take it out of the case. The transmitter will automatically connect to the receiver. The status light on the transmitter will now light up solid green. A solid status light indicates an active connection and the color green indicates a connection to the receiver. You can now also see the audio level and status information for the microphone on the receiver. If a transmitter and receiver are not linked, perhaps because you purchased additional transmitters later, activate pairing mode and then add the transmitter in the receiver menu under device linking. We will take a closer look at this menu in a moment, but there is an even easier way. You can also link a transmitter to a receiver by placing both in the same charging case. It couldn't be easier. If you want to connect the transmitter directly to a camera via Bluetooth, press the linking button for 2 seconds to reactivate pairing mode. You can now go to the settings on the Action 5 for example, and activate the connection with a Bluetooth microphone under wireless mic, and the microphone will connect without any problems. The status LED will now light up blue continuously. Blue indicates a Bluetooth connection. So to recap, yellow indicates noise cancellation, green indicates the connection mode with the receiver, and blue indicates a Bluetooth connection. And there is another extremely useful feature you should know about. Once a camera such as the Action 5 or the Pocket 3 is connected to the transmitter, you can use the linking button to start and stop recording from a distance. This can be quite useful. You can also connect both transmitters to the same camera via Bluetooth and record with both transmitters at the same time. When you turn off the camera, you don't have to pair the microphones again the next time you turn on the camera. The transmitters will automatically connect to the camera, at least if they are in Bluetooth mode. You can tell this by the status LED flashing blue. However, if you want to reconnect the transmitter to the receiver, you have to switch to receiver mode. To do this, press the linking button twice briefly. The status LED will now flash green, and as soon as it recognizes its receiver, it will reconnect automatically. If you press the linking button twice again, the transmitter will switch back to Bluetooth mode and search for a known Bluetooth device. You can also connect the transmitter to a smartphone or a computer without a receiver, using only Bluetooth. To do this, simply switch to pairing mode and search for the microphone in your device's Bluetooth settings. My iPhone and Mac recognize the mic-free transmitter without any problems. But be careful, I wouldn't recommend this, as the audio quality is very poor with this type of connection. Only use the mic-free via Bluetooth with supported DJI devices. For better audio quality when connecting to a smartphone or a PC, you need a receiver, but also whenever you want to connect the mic free to a larger camera like my Sony here. That's why we should now take a closer look at the receiver. Before we take a closer look at the features in the receiver's menu, let's take a look at the receiver itself. The receiver has a dial on the front right for easier operation. You can also press it to confirm a selection. If you press and hold it for 2 seconds, you activate the screen lock. You can deactivate it again in the same way. On the right side, the receiver has a power button to turn it on and off, or to go back 1 step in the menu, and the release button to remove the cover of the expansion port. The expansion port is located on the back, so press the release button to remove the cover and then install the USB-C adapter, or if necessary, a lightning adapter. You need this to connect the receiver to a computer or smartphone. You can also connect the receiver directly to a PC or Mac with a cable and without an adapter via the USB-C port on the back. On the left side, you will find a headphone output. This allows you to connect headphones and monitor the microphone's volume level. Importantly, there is also an audio output that enables you to connect the receiver to a camera using an audio cable. This is quite straightforward. Attach the receiver to your camera's cold shoe using the back clip and use the audio cable to connect the receiver to the camera's microphone input. Please note the following. The connection with the locking wheel belongs in the receiver. Insert it completely and then turn the locking wheel so that the cable cannot slip out. However, the receiver's back clip is not only intended for attachment to a cold shoe. You can also use it to attach the receiver to clothing or other objects, for example. Okay, let's take a look at how to operate the receiver. You'll see that it has a lot of useful features. Once a microphone is connected, you'll see the input level here. In my case, it's microphone 2. The connection quality is good, the battery is fully charged. The receiver is set to mono. That's what the M stands for. You have 2 options for operating the receiver, either via the touchscreen or with the dial. If you turn the dial to the left or right, you can select a menu option. You can recognize this by the dotted yellow frame. I now select microphone 2 and press the dial. The frame now turns solid yellow. I can now use the dial to adjust the input level of the microphone. Turning it to the right increases the gain. Turning it to the left decreases it. You can see this in the number here. The goal should always be to ensure that the level bar never turns orange or red, as this indicates that the audio recording is clipping. This way, you can quickly and easily adjust the gain of both microphones. You can always move backwards in the menu using the power button on the side of the receiver. If you now tap on the level bar or status display of the microphone, you can control a number of very important functions of the microphone. Using the field on the left, you can start and stop an internal recording from a distance. And on the right, you can mute the microphone. On the next page to the right, you will find two more setting options. The left field stands for noise cancellation. There are two levels here, basic and strong. Basic is intended for quiet indoor environments, while strong ensures that your voice remains clear even in noisy surroundings. On the right, you will find 3 presets for voice recording. Let's hear how they sound like. Regular is intended for normal everyday recording and is suitable for most situations. Rich emphasizes the bass, giving you fuller lows for a slightly more powerful sound. And bright ensures exceptional voice clarity, making it suitable for teaching or streaming. As mentioned, use the power button to exit the menu. Now you may have multiple transmitters connected and want to activate the same feature for all of them at once. To do this, simply swipe up from the bottom edge. Now you can start an internal recording or activate noise cancellation for all microphones at the same time. To open the receiver's actual menu, swipe down from the top edge. Alternatively, you can open it by quickly pressing the dial twice. Here you can change the receiver's settings. By default, multiple transmitters record a single mono track together. If you are recording with 2 transmitters, you can use the stereo setting to generate a separation into a right and left channel. This can be useful and gives you more control in post, as you can then edit the channels separately. Perhaps only one voice is too quiet in an interview. Quadraphonic sound even allows you to connect 4 transmitters and record 4 separate channels. However, this only works in connection with very specific devices. If you are monitoring the transmitter input level with headphones, you can adjust the headphone volume here, or select which transmitter you want to listen to. You can use gain to change the receiver's output gain. The new lossless audio feature is important. It enables 48 kHz 24-bit uncompressed recording, which allows for higher quality and a greater dynamic range. This is particularly suitable for difficult environments or high-quality recordings of voices or musical instruments. But be careful, lossless audio reduces the transmission range between the receiver and transmitter. The next feature is extremely useful when using a camera. When auto on-off with camera is enabled, the transmitter turns on and off together with the camera if it is connected to a camera, for example via an audio cable. This prevents you from forgetting to turn the transmitter on or off. Here you can also specify whether the transmitter should switch off automatically after a certain period of time. And under Environment, you can select your environment. In other words, whether you are recording indoors or outdoors. The indoor mode covers a wider frequency and offers stronger anti-interference performance. So this is less about the sound and more about the Wi-Fi transmission frequencies. In some countries, for example, a frequency of 5 GHz is forbidden outdoors to prevent interference, so you have to activate outdoors in these countries. If you frequently change locations, it makes sense for the receiver to ask you where you are every time you turn it on. This way, you don't have to change the setting in the menu every time. And of course, you can also configure a range of settings for the transmitters. You can activate a low-cut filter to block out annoying low-frequency background noise. You can adjust the gain of the input signal separately for each transmitter. We have already seen that this can also be done easily on the home screen. Adaptive gain control is a new feature of the Mic Free. It automatically adjusts the gain depending on the situation. Automatic gain control is more suitable for situations where there are sharp fluctuations in volume, such as noisy environments like sporting events or trade shows, while dynamic gain control allows for automatic adjustment in quieter indoor settings, allowing 2 people to share one mic from up to 1 meter away with automatic audio balancing. 32-bit float enables independent recording of audio files by the transmitter in 32-bit float, which allows for better correction of the audio files in post. So if clipping occurs or a recording is too quiet, You can correct this much better with a 32-bit float recording. The file option is also interesting. If you activate the dual file internal recording option on the right, the transmitter will not only record the original raw audio file for internal recordings, but also an audio file processed with the activated audio algorithms. So a recording with noise reduction, low cut or voice tone presets activated. If you're recording internally, I would definitely activate this feature. Otherwise, neither noise cancellation nor other audio algorithms are applied to internal recordings, and only the raw audio file is saved. Here you can also set whether the transmitter should start recording immediately after switching on, whether it should switch to internal recording when the receiver or camera has a low battery level. There is a loop function for internal recordings, and you can deactivate the functions of the buttons already described, such as for recording or noise cancellation, or even the vibration or LEDs of the transmitter. Apart from that, there are a few other features that you should definitely know about. Under device linking and device management, you can manually link a transmitter or delete an existing link. The timecode feature is also very interesting. There are 2 different timecode modes to achieve perfect synchronization between the audio recording and, for example, the video recording of another device. There are a number of settings for this, and it would take too long to go into detail today. Under General, you can also adjust the brightness of the display, the language, the time and the date. We are still missing the Connect to App menu option, which is extremely important. You should definitely connect the receiver to the DJI Mimo app right at the beginning. You can find the Mimo app either in the iOS App Store, or for Android, you can download it from the DJI homepage. There are several ways to connect. Either select Connect to App here in the menu, and then establish a wireless connection, or connect the receiver to your smartphone using the USB-C adapter and then start the Mimo app. You can also connect the transmitters to the Mimo app. To do this, start the Mimo app and activate the pairing mode on the transmitter. Now you can connect the transmitter, but you still have to confirm the connection on the transmitter. Now you can also download the transmitter's internal recordings in the app. But that's not all. In the Mimo app, you can change various settings, activate functions such as adaptive gain control or noise cancellation, and, very importantly, you can also update the transmitters and receiver via the Mimo app, which is very important because updates not only fix bugs, but also add new features. Any available updates will be automatically displayed in the app. However, you do not need to update the receiver and transmitters individually. Simply connect the receiver, perform the update, and then place the receiver and transmitters in the case. The transmitters will now also be automatically updated via the receiver. Updates are important, so you should do this right at the beginning. Once you are done recording, you can put everything back in the charging case. These 2 compartments are for the adapters, the USB-C adapter and possibly the Lightning adapter. To avoid losing the 2 magnets, you can attach them here at the back. You can also put the audio cable in here. It's best to reattach the back clip to the transmitters and place them in the case with the pins facing down. One on the left and one on the right. And of course, the receiver goes in the middle. You can charge the case or connect it to a computer via the USB-C port on the back. When the case is fully charged, all 4 LEDs on the front will light up continuously. This allows for up to 28 hours of recording. Now you know everything you need to know to enjoy the mic free for a long time. Give me a like as feedback if you found this video interesting. There will be more videos about the mic free, so stay tuned and see you next time.